Hi, my name's Andy Gallimore, and I'm here to talk about our product from Flowolf called SalesWon. And the focus of this video is to talk about the loop, the life cycle of what we reference as our loop, with regards to how we interact with the upstream marketing efforts, as well as then also understanding the downstream impacts to service delivery and or project delivery. So looking at our loop, we start off by really looking at where work comes from in the sales cycle. So we understand and we work with a partner called Tenon, where they're working on really understanding the activities of developing good marketing materials, developing good lead gen, and they are a custom app that's built on the ServiceNow platform as well. And they're the start of the loop. So they become the sales generation or the lead generation function that would then trigger into our ability to then track at a campaign level the details around the campaign, understanding the expenses and understanding now the outcomes of the campaign, which is the most important. Focusing on obviously lead generation and then ultimately the opportunity management to closing business and ensuring that we've got good solid deals coming in the pipe. Now, from a campaign perspective, we go through our lead management. We allow our clients then to manage that lead to qualification. And then once qualification occurs, we go into our opportunity management that allows us to manage the details of the sales cycle to the opportunity. What sales stage are we in? What activities are taking place? Proposals being generated, things of that nature, which then leads us into our CPQ, our configure price quote. Our configure price quote is our engine that allows you to essentially build your quotes, whether that be in what looks like more of a PowerPoint view or whether that be in more of a Word view or a statement of work view. All the variations of those templates can be created on our SalesOne platform in terms of the configure price quote. Once the quote gets signed, we then move into order management and order fulfillment. We have all the workflow power of the ServiceNow platform that allows us to then templatize and manage those activities that need to happen all the way to fulfillment of those orders. And then essentially even into invoicing those clients for the work that's being performed or the products and services that are being delivered. Now, in the middle there of the loop, you can see our agreements. And the beauty of what we've done here is our agreement management is a standalone product, but it's leveraged as part of our order and CPQ creation. And it allows us to manage that full life cycle through the lead process, the opportunity process, to create the right amount of data, the right amount of engagement. Now, you might ask, what type of an agreement management do I need from a CRM perspective in the early stages, for instance, in a lead management? In lead management, we have the ability using our agreement management to actually drive to, at the creation of a lead, having documents generated for those potential new creation or partnerships and or customer relationships for like an MSA or an NDA. We have the ability to manage those templates and then send those templates for review, signature, and management, even before you get into the opportunity, maybe before you can even have a detailed conversation about proprietary information. So this allows you to manage through and really focus on the full life cycle rather than what I was used to in the past is when I had a new contact or a new lead, I had to go to a SharePoint site or I had to go to a legal team member and find out where the most recent document was. And then we had to send it out to the client and then they redlined and they sent it back and everything was done in email. Our solution allows you to do all of that within the power of the platform. Ultimately, then once we get through that order process, we go into that contract and we associate now into the service structure, whether that be project delivery, whether that be service, customer service management, our full stack solution and what we're really loving the power of the platform on is the ability to give that full 360 view. So not only are we a sales loop, but now we have a loop back from the service side of the house where ServiceNow is a tremendous resource and platform, top leading in the Magic Quadrants and things of that nature, which allows us now to tie that back into the selling function, whether that be a customer 360 review on things that they currently own versus things that we can sell them that they don't already have, or whether that's a project delivery for implementation that leads to um, maybe having the customer purchase additional items that maybe they weren't aware of in the early sales cycle that they would need. But once we got into delivery, we realized that they needed certain capabilities that we didn't afford them in the sales cycle. So those are the functional loops that we really try to follow through with regards to the sales cycle within SalesWon, and tying that into our partners on the lead front, and then tying that into the power of our platform, which is the ServiceNow platform. Now, as we look through that, there's a typical path, right? We can, we can look at starting at a campaign level and moving into initiating a lead. But the beauty of where we've built this is you can start wherever you would like. So, but the general sales cycle would start at a campaign level, managing those campaign details, triggering that lead so that you can now understand where the initiated lead is coming from, follow through those lead activities, those lead qualification steps, and then ultimately converting the lead where you create the actual customer account and the customer contacts officially and formally in your CRM. Then moving through the opportunity, you may have opportunity assignments, you may have tasks, statuses, initial agreements that you need to go through, ultimately getting to that quote, that order, that contract. And then finally, again, if you're doing renewal services, renewable services, or software subscriptions or something of that nature, having that contract renewal process that can be initiated at that annual or biannual, whatever your tipping point would be for renewal. That then ties back in. And one of the last things I'll show you in this video is to really talk about how we tie in. We are not breaking the ServiceNow functionality. In fact, we are a standalone CRM and CPQ capability on the ServiceNow platform, but we have business rules that tie in where our customers are using things like CSM as an example. We would make sure that there's a business rule to synchronize our accounts table with the CSM accounts table so that there's not any type of out of sync with regards to your service and your sales functions. Now, you might ask the question, why would we have our own accounts table and our own contacts table as opposed to just using the foundational CSM? And the reason for that is because we can be a standalone application where some customers don't use CSM. So we have to have that account table and those contact tables. But there's a secondary reason that even if our customers do have CSM, that we would keep a separate account table and or contact table. And the reason for that is mainly to allow for the sales process to be segmented from the service, because you do have accounts that may be inactive. You do have contacts that may be lead contacts, but they're not truly an account yet. So what you don't want to do is muddy your account table in CSM with prospect accounts that might be confusing when you're doing searches as a customer service agent or something of that nature. So we try to make sure that there's a clean delineation between those leads or those prospects that are part of the sales process only versus what is now serviceable within our account table as a live active account and or contact. So those are the reasons, and that is the SalesWon loop.